Welcome to the T3 Podcast, Episode 10, Week 10, 2022. This is a weekly podcast discussing tech, travel, and tracks. When it comes to tech, I will mostly talk about the M365 space and what I know regarding open source. For blockchain and crypto, I will refer to various experts. For travel, I will touch on cities, countries of interest, particularly how the global situation impacts travel and tourism. Tracks means beats and or instrumental music. I will let you know what I am working on and mention my music YouTube channel. A quick disclaimer, I am not a travel agent, a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, scientist, etc., and do not offer such professional advice. I will enact fair use during this podcast. Please read the disclaimer upon request. Now, this week is travel heavy. I will once again be speaking with my guy, Mike from LA, USA, who is between USA and Colombia. Hi, Mike. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here this morning.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the government changes in relation to COVID?
Well, so good thing about Colombia is the central government controls everything. So the policies in Colombia, they're uniform. Unlike America, which is, it's even down to the county level. Things can be different from one county to another, even in the same city.
Mm-hmm.
So the good thing about Colombia is there's, one rule affects the entire country. One mandate affects the entire country. So when you're in Colombia, you don't have to figure out, is Cali the same as Medellin? Is Medellin the same as Cartagena or Bogota? Everything is the same everywhere in the country. So they've centralized all their mandates and all their rules and regulations. So everything goes into effect the same day. Everything stops the same day. So on and so forth. And the Colombian people are not like the American people. They actually, when the government says something, they do it. And they deal with it and they move on with their lives. The government, they actually do more so have the interests of their people in mind than I think we do in America. So I think they've acted appropriately based on the available science and all of the medical information that's been published worldwide. And I think their people have acted responsibly as well. Do I necessarily like having to wear a mask everywhere? Does anybody out there? No. But they're like, listen, you know what? The rest of the world's doing it. Let's just go ahead, fall in line, and let's get through this as quickly as possible. But
Right.
I think they're, because of what they've done, and because that they're more of a no-nonsense country than the U.S. is, their economy is bouncing back stronger and faster than the American economy.
Okay, so specifically, during the intense part of the pandemic, they mandated mask, and people followed because it's a no-nonsense country, as you said, and it was across the country. And did they mandated vaccines for their citizens not traveling in the country?
They did, but unlike the U.S., again, they didn't. Well, because the citizens actually listened and they wanted the vaccine. They didn't have a lot of the policies that we have here in the U.S. With all these restrictions. If you're not vaccinated, you can't go here. If you're vaccinated, you have these liberties versus those who are unvaccinated. So a lot of that didn't come into play out there. You don't see signs that says vaccinated people are allowed and unvaccinated people aren't, because by and large, the entire populace is vaccinated.
Right. So shops don't ask you for a vaccine. Sorry, cut. So you're saying that shops and restaurants and such, movie theaters do not ask you for a vaccine pass or vaccine ID card?
No, they don't, because again, it was never an issue there. The vaccine was not taboo. Like here in America, you could be a pariah based on whether or not you're vaxxed. So that's why we have all these dumbass rules about, are you vaxxed, are you not vaxxed? You can come here, you can't go there. But the vaccine was not controversial in Medellin or in the entire country of Colombia. Everybody wanted it, and the people who could get it, you know, they got it, and those who had medical issues and couldn't get it, they didn't get it, but it's not because they refused it. It's because it just wasn't medically sound for them to get it.
Okay, interesting. Have you seen any numbers about the percentage of the population that had been vaccinated?
The last time I checked, and this was, I want to say, right before my birthday last year, I believe their percentage of vaccination was something like 86, 87.
Okay. Yeah. Something similar to Belgium. Last time I checked, it was like 90%. That is fully vaccinated, which means 2 doses. But they keep changing the goalpost as well. So
Mhm.
some experts will say you're only fully vaccinated if you had 3 doses. So you have to interpret the numbers when it comes to that. And some people actually just had the one and decided not to have the second, for whatever reason. So, but generally, when I look, and that number may have changed, so don't quote me on it. Like everything, you should look it up yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay, that was a very good and interesting conversation with Mike there so far. I will release more of our conversation later on or in the coming weeks. Once again, I'm not a doctor. These are my opinions from things that I read from professional, actual doctors that I've listened to, and not what I saw on the news because anybody could post something on the website, really. What is certain at this moment in time of recording this episode is that travel is still a bit tricky and much more tricky than it used to be pre 2019, maybe 2020. That is a fact. Thanks for listening, and we're going into the outro. Once again, thanks for listening. Please take a look at my YouTube channel. That is Larry Sounds, LARRY space SOUNDZ. Larry Sounds. Once you land on the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Now, let me leave you with one of my latest uploads. This is last week's upload. The track is called Shooting Stars and it's a low fade type of vibe, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening again.